Hi there. This is an ongoing video from my two previous ones called the Septoplasty and the revision Septoplasty. I had those two. The first one took place, the initial one took place in September 2018, and the second one took place in March 2019. When I had the second operation, I was led to believe by the head of department who carried out the second operation, I just naturally thought as a patient, as a layperson, that the problems that have been caused by the first septoplasty could be resolved with the second one. I mean, he's one of the top UK otolaryngologists, and I just thought, well, if there's anybody that can do this, he can. So I committed myself to the second one. Unfortunately, although he made the appearance just slightly better, not totally, nothing was done about the internal symptoms. Now this went on for a lot of reappointments, and he was monitoring this. He tried me with nasal douches, saline douches. They were very unsatisfactory, as when I used them, up to an hour afterwards, saline was still coming out of my nose because it had obviously collected somewhere. Nose still bleeding. All of the symptoms I've described in the previous videos I still had. In December 2019, somebody said to me, why don't you go for a second opinion? I was sceptical about it because I thought, well, hey, I've been going to one of the top ENT surgeons in the country, but okay, I'll go for a second opinion. I went to the Royal National Throat, Nose and Ear Hospital, and I attended the appointment in January. Previous to that, I had been Googling my symptoms, and I found out that they were very, very commensurate with people on YouTube and Google articles where it listed a condition called empty nose syndrome. And this happened with people who'd had surgery to what are called the turbinates in the nose. They're the small, to put it very simply, they're the small, they're bones that sort of expand and contract, very delicate material that actually warm and filter the air as it goes into your nose. Very important little things these are. But I thought, well, hey, I signed up for a septoplasty and a revision septoplasty, so there can be nothing wrong there. I went in to see Mr. Joseph at the Royal National Throat, Nose and Ear Hospital. Immediately when he looked up my nose, he went, you've had turbinate surgery. And I was quite shocked that I had, because obviously that wasn't ever explained to me. Nobody in the previous months had said anything. Before I had my revision operation, I wasn't told I'd had extra surgery, and perhaps the revision was trying to correct what the mistakes that had been done in the previous surgery. As a patient, obviously, when you consent to that operation, you consent to what you think you're having. You should be told if you're having any extra surgery. I was kind of shocked. One thing it did do was everything fell into place, and I realised that's why I had the empty nose syndrome symptoms. That is because I had had the surgery that gives you those. I went back to the Central London Hospital, to this head consultant, and he then again gaslighted me and told me there was nothing wrong, a very clear airway. That is actually inaccurate, because the first surgeon, being so very, very bad at surgery, having just only previously qualified a few months before and should have been supervised but wasn't, has caused such bad damage to the mucosal lining of that nasal passage, and the stitching she's done is so bad that it travels right up the septum, right up to the top. And it has caused really very, very serious keloid scarring, which blocks the nasal passage if I had nothing else wrong. Even if I hadn't had turbinate surgery, it would be a huge problem. It still bleeds, so what can I say? How bad a surgeon can you get, Miss Fiona Ting? I am so glad you're back in Australia. I'm so glad you've been taken off the General Medical Council register. I have no idea the circumstances that happened under, but I understand in some circumstances doctors control doctors, and perhaps this is a theory. Perhaps somebody had a word with somebody and said, we wouldn't want you back here. Quite frankly, that isn't good enough for me. I have my first complaint to the Central London Hospital. That was totally gaslighted. I was totally gaslighted with that one. They told me there was nothing wrong. They told me the surgery had gone completely according to plan, and the head man thought that he didn't need to supervise a trainee that had only qualified a few months before. For a difficult septum operation, it wasn't due to a blocked nose, it was a caudal septal, which is something that grows in. It is an acknowledged operation that should be done by an experienced surgeon. So consequently, I have now sent another complaint to the hospital, and I am waiting to see what happens with regard to that. ENS is not recognised in this country, although if you look on any video on a septoplasty on YouTube, you will find many, many people commenting under that about the turbinectomy, how you shouldn't have it done. We can't all be wrong. We can't all be in league. I'm in the UK. Most of the people I hear about are in the US. This is not so rare. It's not such a rare occurrence. Turbinate surgery should stop, really. I can see no need. I can see no real need for it. Turbinates are things that expand and contract with the air around them. They're delicate things, marvellous little things actually. There is no reason why when somebody is operating they should even touch them. They should always try everything available to avoid doing this, so people don't end up suffocating and feeling as if they're drowning with no sleep every night. Anyway, luckily mine has only happened one side because A, I didn't agree to any turbinate surgery, although she went ahead and just did it, and B, they only needed to do this incision for the septum that side, so she obviously thought she wouldn't chance anymore and try and remove the turbinate the other side. But obviously I'm not pleased about it. I hope if you're looking at this and you're considering any type of septoplasty, don't have it done. The risk's too great. You could be experimented on while you're under the anaesthetic. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope it's informative, and if you want me to answer any questions, please put them below.